The sound of the blue ceramic bowl. I haven't thought about the blue bowl in 20 years, but I saw one just like it at a thrift store yesterday, and I had to leave the shop because I couldn't breathe. It's funny how trauma works. It stays dormant in your marrow until a specific shade of glazed stoneware wakes it up. I was 7. My parents were the perfect couple in our neighborhood. My dad was a high school coach, and my mom ran the local bake sales. People literally used to tell me how lucky I was. But inside our house, the air always felt like it was humming, like a transformer about to blow. My mother had what I now recognize as untreated BPD, or perhaps some form of high-functioning alcoholism. But back then, I just knew her as the weather. You had to check the sky the second she walked into a room to know if you were going to be warm, or if you were going to freeze. It was a heavy, deep indigo ceramic piece she used for mixing bread dough. It was a Tuesday. I remember, because Arthur was on TV. I was in the kitchen, trying to get a glass of water. I was small for my age, and had to climb onto the counter to reach the glasses. As I was shimmying back down, my elbow clipped the edge of the blue bowl, which was sitting on the drying mat. In slow motion, it tipped. It didn't just break, it shattered. It sounded like a gunshot in that quiet kitchen. The house went dead silent. Then I heard her footsteps. They weren't fast, they were slow and heavy. That was always worse. She didn't scream. She didn't even look at the mess at first. She just stood in the doorway and looked at me. She told me to sit on the floor, in the middle of the kitchen. Not on a chair, on the linoleum, right in the middle of the ceramic shards. "Since you like breaking things," she whispered, her voice vibrating with that terrifying low-octave rage, "you can stay here until every single piece is accounted for. Don't move your feet. Don't move your hands." I sat there for 4 hours. My shins were tucked to my chest. I remember the sharpie black realization that if I shifted even an inch, the shards would slice my legs. She sat at the kitchen table, 3 feet away, calmly reading a catalog and sipping tea. Every time I whimpered or my legs started to shake from the muscle fatigue, she'd just tap the table with her ring. Clack, clack, clack. "Focus, Leo," she'd say. "Actions have consequences." When my dad came home, he didn't save me. He looked at me on the floor, looked at the broken blue ceramic, and looked at her. He sighed, kissed her on the cheek, and said, "I'll grab the shop vac later, honey. Let's let him think about what he's done for a bit longer." That was the moment the world broke for me, not when the bowl shattered, but when the person who was supposed to be the sane one looked at a terrified 7-year-old surrounded by glass and decided it was easier to let it happen than to upset the weather. I spent the next 15 years being the most perfect, invisible human being alive. I became a people pleaser of the highest order. If I saw glass near the edge of a table, I'd have a panic attack. I didn't realize until therapy in my late 20s that I wasn't neat or careful. I was hyper-vigilant. I was still sitting in the middle of those blue shards, waiting for permission to move. I'm 40 now. I haven't spoken to them in a decade. People ask why I don't go home for the holidays, and I never know how to explain that my mother's love was a ceramic trap, and my father's love was the silence that let it stay set. Seeing that bowl yesterday reminded me that I'm not on that kitchen floor anymore. I'm allowed to move, I'm allowed to break things, and I'm definitely allowed to walk out of the store.